Hi, good morning, everyone. This is Rajiv Bajaj. Welcome to Evolve and Execute. I'm your host for the day. For decades, career success followed a predictable path: study, get a job, climb the ladder, and retire. But today, careers are no longer linear. People are taking breaks, switching industries, pursuing passion projects, and redefining growth. Yet, despite this shift, career breaks are still seen as a risk rather than the opportunity. So, how do professionals navigate non-linear careers, and they do it with confidence? And how should organizations rethink hiring talent with unconventional paths? So, to discuss all this, we have today Mr. Mayank Sharma with us. He's a founder of HRMony Partners and a very experienced HR professional who has worked closely with talent strategy, hiring trends, and workforce transformation. Mayank, welcome to Evolve and Execute, and great to have you here.
Thank you, Rajiv, for inviting me. Looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, thank you. And can you just introduce yourself to our viewers today?
Sure. So I am from Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. Did my schooling from there. Later, I did computer engineering from Indore and moved to Pune as a software engineer. And then I got into XLR Jamshedpur. So batch of 17, I did PGD from there. From campus, I got into Reliance, and that is how my HR career started as an HR business partner. Post, I worked in Asian Paints for a year. This is the time when my first career break happened, and that term was not even popular at that time. So for me, it was a decision that I won't say I planned it. It just happened because by the time I was 26, two things happened. One, I felt a lot burnt out because of the way I have lived my life, and second thing, my body, even when I was 26, it had a lot of lifestyle diseases. So I was going through my parameters was really off, and I always had this plan to start my own venture. But before that, I thought this is the right time to pause a bit. So the first career break happened, and I traveled a bit. I worked on my weight. I learned swimming, etc., etc. Before we could launch our startup, COVID happened. The lockdown happened, and then we had to pivot. And because of that, the career break also increased. So initially, it was planned for 3 months, but it stretched for 6 months. And then I started my venture. Ran it for 2 years. It was operationally profitable. We were into career guidance for 9 to 12 plus students, but we didn't see the scale. So I rejoined corporate and I worked in Chadavan MG for 2 years and various HR leadership positions. Post which the second career break started, and this one was really planned. Why? Because I wanted to rest, explore, and my fundamental philosophy at that time was that I want to build multiple income streams. How the answer was not known, and that is where I felt a career break helps you, that you explore. So I explored multiple options, and then I started my own HR consulting firm. I'm also working in various other capacities, like helping students with placement preparations, going to college as guest lecturer. I have written a book also during my career break called The Corporate Circus, and also I work as a career coach. So this is my journey in a nutshell.
Very nice. Mayank, let's start with the big picture. Why are non-linear careers becoming more common today?
Mhm, mhm. So I think there are two prominent reasons for that. A is the traditional path that was shown to everyone, that you get a good degree, you get into a good job, either you stick to that company or you switch calculatively and you have a good life. This is something that has changed a lot, especially if you see the Indian corporate ecosystem, that till 2008 financial crisis, everything was right. In 2008, people see the first wave of layoff, then market improved. 2020 COVID, there were a lot of layoff, then hiring resumed, and then from last 3 years, we are seeing a very bad market, which is also leading people to reevaluate their life because whatever they planned, life is not happening in that way, or whatever picture that was shown to them, it is not happening in that way. Second thing, as a country, we are becoming a bit more risk-taking. So career break itself, I would say 5, 6 years down the line was a big red flag. As a recruiter, I can tell you, if someone was having a break in their resume, a hiring manager will say immediately that just remove that resume. Now people are more open to people who have taken different paths because they see as a strength. That, for instance, like if you see my case, I have taken a career break followed by a startup. So when I started my job hunting, my resume was very different and versatile from people who were searching for jobs, and that's why I ended up with more opportunities. Third thing is more personal in nature, which is again my opinion. I would say that because I am doing career break coaching for a long time, there are a lot of people who are financially well off, not in the sense that they are very rich, but maybe between husband and wife, one of them is working. There's a generational wealth, parents are settled. So, and people are also working for a long time. So they get some sort of detachment from their routine and they want to try out their things. Maybe they just want to rest and relax. They want to maybe follow a passion like start an NGO, pursue a hobby, pursue a startup or whatever. So because of these three combined events, and fourth, if I have to add, I would say a lot of people that reach out to me are those who are burnt out from their job. From the day they started working, they have bad companies, bad bosses. Life didn't treat them well. Though money might be good. I have done career break coaching for people who are earning like in crores. But beyond a point, money stopped making them happy, and the other elements start making them feel worse about their life. And they are the one also looking for a career break. So multiple things are working parallel, and that's the reason post COVID, a lot of people are actively looking for. In fact, LinkedIn has recently added an option that you can add a career break between your experience. So that is how it has become common.
Great. You talked about the career break seen as a red flag. What has changed in today's workplace where people have started accepting it?
So earlier, and when I started my career back in 2017, I think, the term career break itself was not even coined that time. So anyone who had a break in their resume, the fundamental assumption was that this person was kicked out from their job, whether because of their own fault or they were not able to perform. So that was an inherent bias. People didn't bother to care about factors like maybe there was some personal emergency, maybe he was into an unfair organization, she was having some difficulties because of location. So it was a very, in general, Indian recruitment works from a filtration basis. How can I remove candidate? How can I reject a candidate? Things started changing a bit. Because of the change in the mindset of hiring manager that things may go wrong. We should be open to at least hear the story of other person. B, layoff become quite common. So pre-COVID era, even companies were very hesitant to lay off a person. In 2020 COVID wave, a lot of people were laid off. So that means a lot of good people were into available into market. At the same time, people were trying out new things, and companies started realizing there are two benefits of having these kind of people. If they are on a career break, they can join immediately, and that is something had happened because there's a era between the current cold market and the COVID layoff, which we called as talent wars in market. That every company was hiring. That means every person was shopping for offers. And if a person is having 3 months notice period, that person will end up again applying to companies, getting a better offer. So companies started prioritizing those who can join immediately, and that is when these people who were on a career break, they had some sort of advantage over people who had this 90 days notice period. Second thing is, if someone is having a startup or someone was trying out new things, they are coming from a very different mindset and very new skill that people who were in, like I, when I started in Tata, there were a lot of people who were ex-entrepreneurs there, people who tried a startup and failed. And there were many such companies who viewed these people as assets, especially the startups. So most of the startup founders have this thinking that if we brought failed the startup founders, they might bring us a value that is not with the employees who are having a linear career path. So this is I where I feel that the career break started normalizing. People saw that even when you have a break, you will get opportunities, and this is still rolling. That means more and more people who have taken career breaks or who have seen their friends taking career break, they are now becoming hiring managers, and they are much more relaxed in their filtration compared to the hiring managers 10 years before.
Absolutely, I agree with you. From HR perspective, how do organization really view career breaks? Because sometimes HR managers they themselves start looking at people with suspicion.
True, true. And that is where I see a big change that has come. As I said, some 8, 10 years down the line, our instructions were really clear that if someone is having a career break, we do not even filter that resume for first round. And obviously, as HR, we do what the hiring managers tell us to do because our job is to understand what the hiring managers want. And this notion that if someone is having a gap in their resume, it is because of their fault was quite prevalent. What COVID and successively whatever the however the market is running, taught people is that life happens, yeah? And things are not in people's hand. You may need to take a break because of your own health, or because of your family, or because of your emergency, or because of you want to try out few things, or you have burnt out. So this whole mental health awareness thing, fatigue, burnt out, these are the terms that become very common, especially in the last 5, 6 years. And that is how HRs have become much more accommodating. HRs have tried to explain to hiring managers that we should give this person a chance, at least try to listen to his or her story. And maybe that person could be a good asset, A, because for all practical purposes, this person will join us within next week, rather than waiting for someone having a 60 or 90 days notice period. B, this person is coming from a break. Not only you will expect this person to be much more focused, also once someone has taken a career break, they have this renewed zeal that I want to prove myself back into the corporate. So statistically, also when we do surveys and all that, we find that people who come back from career break, especially if you've seen a lot of companies have this programs for returning mothers, those who have taken a maternity break, extended maternity break, they are coming into workforce. Uh, they are much more focused. Same goes for others who have taken career break for various other reasons. So instead of looking at people as a liability or red flag, the perspective has shifted. Now we see them from a very different eye.
Right. What are the most common reasons professionals take career breaks today?
First and foremost is there's this increased way of taking risk and start something of your own. It could be a venture, it could be an NGO, it could be even trying your hands in your family business. A lot of people want that. Second things are health reason. So mine was because of health, because you'll see a lot of people who have followed this conventional route. We've screwed our body big time. That means sleeps were never regular, meals were never regular, stress was huge, and all these events that people in their late 20s or early 30s, they are getting diabetes, they are getting hypertension, they are getting fatty liver. Uh, and earlier people used to ignore all these diseases, but now they have realized, especially you might have seen that post-COVID, there has been a huge wave of unexplained cardiac arrests in people who are quite young. And the reason most people cite is because of burnt out and stress. I am someone who got diabetes at the age of 31, and I was able to reverse it. I have to literally change my lifestyle. But the reason of getting diabetes that early was because of how I lived in my 20s. Now people don't want to do that, and that's the reason a lot of them, at least those who come to me, one big angle is people have started realizing that. If I continued in this toxic job, if I continued with this toxic boss, my body will suffer a lot, my mind will suffer a lot. And they are conscious that they don't want to have any sort of irreversible diseases. So this also becomes a big reason. And third thing is general awareness. As I said, we a lot of us are no longer the generation where as soon as you're 20, in your 20s and 30s, you should have a very big responsibility. A lot of us have parents who are earning decently or who have saved decently, or a life partner, like in my case. When I take my career break, second career break, I was able to do that because my wife was working. So in a lot of cases, there is a supporting partner or supporting parent who is earning. Uh, there are a lot of people who have saved themselves very good amount. People are not, running paychecks to paychecks. So that is a good corpus that can sustain someone for 8 to 12 months. So because of this financial empowerment, also people are now not very hesitant to take a career.
True. True. I think that was lovely because you covered almost all the aspects of the reasons for professional for taking breaks. But you need to position your career breaks. So how the career breaks can be positioned as a strength instead of weakness.
So what I feel is, and again, something that I discovered on the go, not something that was planned from my side. So when I took my first career break, I started writing on LinkedIn about that, and successively it was followed by my journey as a startup owner. And when we shut down our startup, obviously I was out from corporate for at least 3 years. But that post went viral within the same day. I got three job offers over the week. I got more than 50 plus leads and multiple job offers. which were pretty much finalized. Why? Because people were following the journey for last 2 3 years. So this is one aspect that I tell people, that although it has become much difficult than what it was 5 years down the line, 5 years ago, but if you have a personal brand, no matter where, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, or Instagram, and you are documenting your journey publicly of your break, people know your story, people know how authentic you are, and definitely you're going to leverage when you're trying to return to any sort of mainstream career or even startup. Second thing is your network. Beyond a point, Naukri.com or any portal do not help you much, especially in a tough market like right now. When the market is good, people get opportunity. Every person will get an opportunity, no matter what kind of career break you are having. I know people who were out 5 6 years because they were taking care of a parent, and suddenly they got a job because the market was good. Yeah, so this happens. But in a bad market, even those who have stellar resumes, very stable careers, they don't get opportunity. So in that manner, if you're taking a career break, what kind of network you already had, and how are you able to maintain that network, especially knowing people who can influence hiring in various organizations, that matters. So first is personal brand, second is network, third comes then your own skill. Your career break, if you have this intention to return to corporate world again, there should be some sort of upskilling that ensure that you are not lost. So recently, I was talking to someone who had a career break for almost 10 years because of maternity. She wanted to raise her kids, and now the kids have grown up decently. She wants to come back to mainstream career. And that is what I told her, that what was you doing 10 years down the line, and how the current corporate landscape is. There is a hell lot of a difference. So first, you need to align yourself with what is happening recently. Maybe follow up with the new trends, like vibe coding is something that I get a lot of clients asking for whether we should hire vibe coders instead of people who can hard code. So trends changes a lot. There was a time when people who were good with Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Premiere Pro, they were serious sought after. But nowadays, people who are good with Canva, or those who can use AI to do editing and all that, they are also into demands. So if you are coming back to mainstream corporate after a long time, you need to align yourself with the current. So again, I'll repeat. First is your personal brand, which I feel can make a huge difference. Second is your network, and third is your upskilling. These three things, if one has taken care of, even any one of them, I don't think there will be a big problem returning to at least a job.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you. The personal branding is something which is very, very important. And but people do make mistakes. So what mistakes do people make when planning or communicating their career break?
If you ask me, one of the biggest mistake people do is, I would say, the reverse side of it. That there are a lot of people who have this 60 days, 20 days notice period. They reach out to me. We have a full plan prepared for them, but somewhere down the line, they panic at the last moment. And instead of taking a career break, in the last month, they start looking for job again. Or within the first month of their career break, they start looking for job again. And before they are fully healed, or before they chase the purpose for which they have taken the career break, um, their career break is over. So this is the first mistake I feel, that people who intend to take a career break should give time to, I would say, universe, God, whatever, their own skills, whatever. Yeah. Second thing I feel is career break again is mentally tough for a lot of people, because suddenly you lose your identity. I remember when I had quit my job with Asian Paints, and I was in a train. I was coming back from Mysore Roads, and the person was sitting next to me. That person asked me, "What are you doing right now?" Like, and I didn't have an answer, because for till that time my identity was tied up with the institutions I was part of. Like, I was a student at XLR, I was a manager at Reliance, or I was a manager at Asian Paints. Suddenly you lose your identity, not only the money part but the identity part also. And that is where again people feel a bit timid, people feel a bit nervous. Third thing is finances. You should plan your finances well. You should have that kind of corpus. Obviously, you can limit your expenses a lot. You can, like most of the people, return to their hometown with their parents, and the financial cushion is there. But still, if you're planning for 6 to 9 months of career break, you should know how to invest your money properly. Where can you get some sort of a passive income? even some sort of a gig, even if that gig gives you 4,000, 5,000 per month, that is enough for building confidence.
So I fully agree with you. But today's environment, upskilling is also very important. So how do you think career breaks are an opportunity for upskilling?
Uh, Apart from upskilling, I think a big factor they play a key role in is when people are transitioning. Like someone who was into sales and they want to go into editing or digital marketing, or someone was into technical things and now they want to get into HR or any sort of role. So I feel career break is a very good opportunity for people. Like one of my colleagues, she was an HR like myself, and she took a career break. She roamed around Europe, and when she came back, she started working in UI UX designing. So there was a brief period of upskilling, and now she started getting gigs. So apart from upskilling is definitely there. But I think that is a continuum. When you know something, you already want to learn more about. But beyond a point, you do hit some sort of I would say, brick wall, because apart from techies, there are a lot of roles where you just learn within the job. Like obviously, a coder can learn a new language or a new skill, but for an HR person, it will be a very difficult. Beyond a point, a lot of decisions, a lot of learning happens because of the decision and environment you're part of. So transitioning into a different career, this is where I feel like career break plays a big role.
Yes. But what advice would you give to professionals returning after a long break,
Mhm.
to the job?
I think first, they should have conviction in their own story or narrative. Yeah, I remember when I started giving interviews again, and someone asked me for expected CTC, and I told a number, and that person was like, "Why do you feel you deserve that number? Yeah, you're not working for last 3 years." And then I corrected that person that I was not working in a formal job, but XYZ work was done, XYZ upskilling happened. These were the things I learned, and this is the value I feel I deserve. So people should have faith in their own story. They shouldn't get nervous. They shouldn't get underconfident. They shouldn't start second thinking that I have made a wrong decision by taking a career break. Second thing is they need to be very strategic in the way they are looking for a job. Again, as I said, randomly applying on a job portal or on LinkedIn won't lead much result. They have to be very strategic in terms of who to reach out to, how they should start explaining their story, and even when they are into interviews, how to turn a career break into a strength. It should appear like a carefully thought through decision, and whatever the learnings were, whatever the work that was uh, done, it should be explained well. It shouldn't, they shouldn't appear like someone who are regretting their own choice, because that will make their case weak.
Yes, I fully agree. But how should hiring managers evaluate candidates with non-linear careers? Because that is where sometimes the bias start coming in.
So to be honest, what I feel is it's a double-edged sword, because I won't deny there are people who, there are a lot of people who are genuine with their career breaks. But at the same time, there are people who are on a career break because of their own works, like someone who has committed fraud or whatever. So a hiring manager has to evaluate. A hiring manager should be empathetic enough to allow the person to explain their story, mindful enough to cross question, and thoughtful enough to use their judgment to think whether the story is making sense or not, because it's very easy to catch people who are lying in their own career based story and hiring managers. So that what I mean to say is, you can't be 1 or 0. You can't be absolutely brutal that I won't give a chance to person. You can't be absolutely sensitive that I should be sympathetic and empathetic and I should by default take this person because this person is not in a job. Because a lot of time you'll see people who are on career break, their pitch is not uh, on the value they are bringing, but more on the emotional side that, I'm not working for last 2 years. My family is in emergency. My family is in need, whatever, whatever. So the hiring manager has a responsibility towards both the candidate and towards the company they are working for also. And that's the
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
they have to balance both aspects.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, career experimentation is, of course, very important. But how do you think it helps professionals discover their strengths?
So what I feel is a lot of time people who are into job for a very long time, they're very unprepared, and that is a trend we are seeing lately, that a lot of layoffs are happening, and people have absolutely no idea how to deal with layoffs. Why? Because they feel a job is the only way to earn, and B, without their job, they are nothing. So those who have taken career breaks, or those who know this, that even if my job is not there, I will survive somehow. I will do things to earn my livelihood. And this is where a career break helps. I think people who have gone through a career break, who have not earned for 6 months, 9 months, they know how to manage an emergency situation, and that's the reason once they are back on job, you won't see they getting fearful all the time, that what if my job is not there. Second thing is, a lot of people feel that beyond their job they won't be able to do anything. When people reach out to me for career breaks, they are like, I don't know what to do apart from this job. This is where all this experimentation helps, that you will know whether you have some hidden hobby that can be monetized. Like, as I said, there are a lot of people who become designers, UI UX designers, editors, content creators, uh, and people are earning in ways. Even I feel, I give this example a lot because that is something that surprised me when I was promoting my book, and I reached out to Instagram influencers, and I reached out to a person quite young in age, like she was in her early 20s, and she quoted me 30,000 rupees for a single week. So imagine, 30,000 is the entry level job where people get paid working for an entire month, and then there is someone who is earning 30,000 rupees only for posting one reel, and she is like posting at least 10, 12 reels a month. So you can imagine that person is earning like 2.5 to 3 lakh per month from only content creation. Of course, these are very, I would say, heavily skewed towards the top, but obviously there are other avenues through which people are earning, and that's where experimentation is necessary, like what I'm doing right now. When I take my first career break, I also wasn't aware of anything that I can do to monetize. Yeah. In my second career break, by this time I had enough idea that if I tried my hands in 8, 10 things, maybe I can find 3, 4 things that will give me some sort of money, and then I can pick where to optimize to earn a decent amount of income. Uh, this is where I feel experimentation helps. A, it reduces the dependency on a single job, and B, it gives you confidence that even if the worst happened, I will survive. Later, maybe I will thrive.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. And that is where you have to take the risk. So, what role does the mindset play in navigating unconventional career paths? Because everybody cannot do it. So, what is your take on that?
I think I briefly touched upon this, that a lot of people who come for career break coaching, they panic at the last moment. Obviously, most people advise against taking a career break, their family, their friends, their relatives, and people do chicken out, and then they feel worse. They either stuck to the same toxic job, or in their panic state, they choose a job which is even worse than their current job. So this is where I feel mindset is very important, because to stay sane when you're not earning for 9 months to 12 months, and all sort of negative news are coming, and your mind also prepared absolutely worst case. What if I will never get a job? What if this? What if that? So a lot of negative thoughts will come. So one should be absolutely clear that a career break means there will be monetary losses in the short run. If someone is earning, let us say, 20 lakh rupees, and that person is on a career break for 12 months, that means not only you lose that 20 lakh with promotion, you might be at 24, 25. You may start your second job with 12, 14 lakh kind of a package. Yeah. So if you simply play life by figures, you will not take any benefit of career break, because career break teaches you to put uh, career break makes you realize how to appreciate the abstract things in life, like having the time to take care of your health, reducing weight or whatever disease you're going through, spending time with your parents, traveling, pursuing a hobby. of course you can't put a money tag to that. And if you can't do that, you can't build that kind of a mindset. In your career break also, you will always be worrying, you will always have negative mindset, and then beyond a point, it is going to do more harm than good.
Right. But what kind of uh, preparation should be done before you actually think of career break? Any tips for our viewers?
So first and foremost, I would say you should be absolutely clear why you are taking a career break. Uh, Not in the sense that you should have a plan, but the abstract reason for that. That because maybe you're going through a burnout, your boss is very bad, or you want to pursue something. That umbrella idea should be there, because whenever you will feel, whenever second thoughts will come to you, that's the time you have to remind yourself that this is the reason I have taken a career break. Second thing again will be finances, that you should have a runaway for at least 9 to 12 months. And I feel if you're unmarried, if you don't have a wife or kids, I think it's very easy to plan. If your wife is working, then again it's very easy to plan. But if your wife is not working, there are kids, then it becomes a bit tough. So that's where you may need to defer your career break for 6 months, 12 months, save a bit, build a corpus, have some sort of a passive income through your investments, etc., etc. Because beyond the point, money will bother you, especially if there is some emergency case. Third thing is, and that is something that I tell people, and that is the toughest thing to follow. In your first month of career break, don't do anything. And a lot of us are conditioned to be always productive, or always be learning something. So when we don't do anything, people become absolutely confused how to not do anything. But the magic happens afterward, because once you have lived that 1 month, you will have an idea a whether you feel that job is the only good. You will have an answer in terms of whether job was the good thing to you, and you are just looking for a good job instead of your bad job, or whether you are not made for corporate and you want to try new things, be it writing, be it content creation, be it any other hobby that you want to monetize and start a small business. I've seen people starting cloud kitchen. I've seen one of the earliest client I had. That person started an NGO. So people start having answers post that month that this is an area I should try for. But one should learn how to give chances to themselves enough time, and that enough time will happen only when you are confident on your finances. So everything is linked in that.
Absolutely. So, time for a quick rapid fire round. Mayank, one line answers for all the questions will be appreciated. So, career break, risk or opportunity?
I'll say opportunity, because a lot of new doors open when you close the only door you were clinging for a lot of time. So opportunity.
So, linear career or non-linear career?
Given the state we are in 2026, where no company can provide job security, non-linear career, having multiple income stream is must.
Skilling during break, essential or optional?
I would say optional, because not everyone needs to learn. Sometimes a career break can only to rest and relax and live life a bit.
One biggest myth about career breaks.
That you won't get any job afterwards.
Resume gap, explain or embrace.
Embrace.
Career switching, bold move or smart move.
I'd say smart moves, neither of the time, I guess.
Right, absolutely. Most underrated skill after a career break.
Networking. The more people you know, more opportunities you're going to get.
Hiring bias, real or exaggerated.
It's reducing, but still real.
Okay. A lot of things are changing around us. One advice for professionals afraid of career breaks.
Uh, there will never be a logical reason to take a career break. You will never be able to justify that. It will always be a leap of faith. It will always be an abstract decision. And you will realize the benefit only once you have taken it. If you're on the fence, you will always be worrying about things that are never going to happen.
Non-linear career in one word.
I would say fulfilling, Even if the money is less, you'll be able to sleep peacefully.
Oh, that's very important. Sleep is something which everybody is looking for. And the way toxicity is increasing in the careers, people are actually moving towards career breaks because of that also, quite a lot. And entrepreneurship, atmosphere which has been created around us of late is also helping in that. So, thank you for the nice conversation. What stands out from today's conversation is that careers are no longer ladders, they are journeys. So, career breaks don't define capability, experience, learning, and adaptability do. So, Mayank, thank you for helping us reframe career breaks as a moment of growth rather than pauses in progress. So, any last word of advice for our viewers, especially younger ones?
So the younger ones, the only thing that was coming to my mind, like when I was in my 20s, I was afraid a lot for a lot of things, and I was always creating this doom scenario, worst case scenario, etc. A lot of things that I thought and worried about a lot never happened. So this is what I can tell you, that if you're in your 20s, you are worrying about your career, you're worrying about whether you should take the risk to pursue your own dream or not. I would say take chances, make mistakes, and give things a time. Be it even the job you are worrying about. I don't even say that leave the job immediately. At least give 6 to 8 months to any job. If you're doing a business, at least give 2 to 2.5 years. Even if you fail in job or business, you'll rebound. So once you're in your 30s, you'll have enough information and experiences that you will be able to take wise decisions. So don't be afraid to make mistakes in your 20s.
Right. So, to all our listeners, your careers doesn't need to be perfect; it just needs to be purposeful. So, this is what is a takeaway for us from Mayank today. So, until next time, keep evolving, keep executing. So, this is Rajiv Bajaj signing off from Evolve and Execute. Thank you so much, Mayank, for joining us today, and I hope we will have much more to interact with in future as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me, and really enjoyed the conversation. Your questions were really good, and I hope your viewers especially, will learn something. And if they have any further problems, they will reach out to you and ask you guidance for that.
No, thank you so much. Thank you, Mayank. Thank you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.